It's very unlikely for a spaceship to arrive at our backyard, but nevertheless, we should keep that as a possibility because the implications would be huge.
October 29th, 2025, 11:47 Universal Time. What just happened may change everything we think we know about what's natural and what isn't. The interstellar object known as 3I Atlas survived. Against every model, every forecast, every confident statement from scientists who said it couldn't, it passed through one of the most violent solar plasma ejections of this entire cycle and came out the other side. 3I Atlas has just completed its closest pass to the Sun, Perihelion, skimming within 23 million kilometers of the solar surface. For hours, it was hidden behind the Sun's blinding glare, invisible to every telescope on Earth. During that darkness, an object roughly the size of Manhattan Island, traveling 60 kilometers per second, rounded our star, unseen. And no one knows what happened in that moment. But here's what we do know. We're not waiting years for answers anymore. We have 90 days of the most intense astronomical observation in human history. Because whatever 3I Atlas is, natural or artificial, comet or something else, it's about to reveal itself. A few weeks ago, something strange was noticed. Its arrival direction, almost exactly 9 degrees from the 1977 WOW signal.
2 weeks ago, I realized the arrival direction of 3I Atlas was within 9 degrees of the WOW signal that was detected in 1977.
That's the same enigmatic radio transmission that came from deep space, a signal we still can't explain. The chance of that alignment happening randomly, about 0.6%.
It was coming from a source that was approaching the Sun, and the chance of it aligning with the arrival direction of 3I Atlas is 0.6%.
This isn't about what happened in July. It's not about the August telescope images. This is now. October 29th through January 10th, 90 days that will either confirm everything we've assumed about our place in the universe or destroy those assumptions completely. Welcome to the final act. Welcome to the countdown. And it all begins with what just happened at Perihelion. 3I Atlas reached Perihelion at a distance even closer than expected, around 1.36 astronomical units. At that distance, the Sun's radiation is at maximum intensity. 3 scenarios now branch out from that single moment, and which future we face depends entirely on what 3I Atlas truly is. Scenario 1. It's just a comet. Unusual, yes. Anomalous, yes. But natural. It continues on its hyperbolic orbit exactly as gravity dictates, slowly fading into the dark as it exits the solar system. That's the comfortable version, the one mainstream astronomers are hoping for. Scenario 2. It's not natural, and it's coming back toward Earth. During Perihelion, hidden from every Earth-based eye, it could have executed what's called an Oberth maneuver, a reverse thrust using the Sun's gravity to slingshot itself onto a new path. If that happened, we'll know by Thanksgiving. Because by then, if the models don't match, if the object reappears off course, we'll know it chose to change direction. If 3I Atlas executed an Oberth maneuver, it means one thing. Someone or something used the Sun to slow down. That's not a comet's behavior, that's control. And if the trajectory is bending toward Earth, we'll see the signs within weeks. By late November, the models will either hold true or collapse completely. If 3I Atlas doesn't reappear where physics predicts, if it veers toward our orbit, we'll know, and we'll have exactly 3 weeks until December 19th before it reaches its closest approach to Earth. 267 million kilometers, no direct collision risk, but close enough that, if it's artificial, it could do whatever it came here to do. Now, there's a third possibility, and it might be the strangest and most likely of all. Scenario 3. 3I Atlas is artificial, and it's not coming here. It's heading for Jupiter. Think about it. Jupiter and its moons, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, are the most logical destinations for exploration. If you were an interstellar civilization studying habitable worlds, you'd aim there. And perihelion, that brief moment near the sun, would be the perfect time to adjust your course. A small acceleration, a subtle change, not enough to be obvious, but enough to slingshot you toward the outer planets. We might not detect that deviation for weeks, but once we do, the path would be locked. A rendezvous with Jupiter on March 16th, 2026. And that's exactly what some scientists, including geophysicist Stefan Burns, believe is happening. His calculations show all three scenarios are possible, but only one requires intention. The Oberth maneuver. Voyager used it. New Horizons used it. Every advanced spacecraft humanity has ever launched uses it. So if 3I Atlas performed one, that means it was built by something that understands physics the way we do. But here's the question that's haunting everyone in the Galileo project, the same one Avi Loeb just raised in his essay published this morning, titled "The Acid Test of 3I Atlas." Was the timing deliberate? Was the trajectory fine-tuned so that every telescope on Earth would be blind at the critical moment while it was hidden behind the sun? If that's true, then what we just witnessed was a maneuver designed to avoid detection. A Trojan horse crossing the inner solar system, concealing something inside. And Avi Loeb isn't dismissing that. He's not calling it alien or sensationalizing it. He's doing what a real scientist does, asking the question everyone else is afraid to say out loud. What if it's not a comet? What if it's a probe? Loeb, the former chair of Harvard's astronomy department, has spent his career challenging orthodoxy. He's hosted Stephen Hawking. He's published more than 1,000 scientific papers, and yet he's the one saying we should take the artificial hypothesis seriously. Not conclude it, test it, observe it. And this perihelion, this moment, was the perfect chance for it to act. Over the next 90 days, Loeb's Galileo project will watch the skies from 3 observatories: Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Las Vegas. High-resolution cameras. Machine learning algorithms tuned for the impossible, objects that move in ways physics shouldn't allow. Because if 3I Atlas released anything at all, those instruments will catch it. December 19th, that's the date to remember. The day 3I Atlas comes closest to Earth, and if it's a mothership, that's when the smaller probes would appear. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally know who's watching who.
So here we are.
Perihelion has passed. The object has vanished into sunlight, and for the next few weeks, the world waits. Early November, 3I Atlas begins to re-emerge from behind the sun. After weeks of silence, its signal, or its light, returns. And that's when the real test begins. Because if anything happened during perihelion, we'll see it now. Changes in brightness, fluctuations in trajectory, fragments that weren't there before, a glow where there shouldn't be one. Every telescope, every observatory, from Chile to Hawaii to orbit, will be locked on a single point of light, watching for the smallest sign that the laws of physics just bent. And we're not the only ones watching. ESA's JUICE spacecraft, already en route to Jupiter, is positioned to capture readings of 3I Atlas as it moves outward. It can sense plasma, magnetic fields, particle composition. If what passed near the sun was metallic or manufactured, we'll know. But here's where the story takes a turn, because something far bigger is coming, something written in the sky itself. January 6th through 10th, 2026, 5 days that could redefine everything we think we know about cosmic order. During that week, the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and the gas giant Jupiter align almost perfectly along one axis. And right there, between Mars and Jupiter, is 3I Atlas, positioned precisely within the alignment plane. When astronomers mapped the geometry, something extraordinary appeared. The alignment vector, the invisible line connecting all those planets, points directly towards Sagittarius. That's the same direction 3I Atlas came from, the same region where the 1977 WOW signal originated, the same patch of sky that holds the center of our galaxy. That's not superstition, that's orbital mechanics. A cosmic arrow pointing straight back to where it began. Now, skeptics call this coincidence, but coincidences don't usually involve 7 planets, a rare alignment, and a visiting object that arrived on the same geometric plane as the solar system itself. If this was planned, if this was designed, then it means someone out there calculated an arrival billions of years in advance, timed perfectly for an era when one species, us, could finally look up and understand what we were seeing. Think about that. An interstellar probe launched before humanity even existed, aimed to arrive during a planetary alignment that points back to its origin star. It's not fantasy, it's math. If you were mapping a message into the sky, this is how you'd write it. January 9th, 2026, the day of peak alignment. Earth and Jupiter on one side, Mercury, Venus, and Mars on the other, and 3I Atlas perfectly balanced between them. Every force in the solar system converging, gravity, magnetism, geometry, and one interstellar object sitting right in the middle. It's as if the universe is holding its breath. And some scientists believe that if 3I Atlas is observing us, if it's equipped to measure solar fields or electromagnetic resonance, that's when it will act. That's when it could transmit or reveal its true nature. Because in cosmic terms, alignments aren't just symbolic, they're energetic, they change how forces interact. And if this object is studying us, it picked the perfect window. So as January approaches, the clock keeps ticking. Every day brings new data, new comparisons, new questions, and the deeper we look, the less comet-like this thing appears. We're seeing too many alignments, too many coincidences, too much order in what should be chaos. Maybe this isn't about astronomy anymore. Maybe this is about contact. December 19th. The day finally arrives. Around the world, telescopes turn toward the faint glimmer of 3I Atlas, the object that shouldn't exist, the object that refuses to behave. And then, something happens. Not a flash, not a radio burst, just a subtle hum in the background noise, a pattern buried deep in static. Every receiver in the Galileo network catches it at once. A narrowband oscillation, exactly 1420 megahertz, the hydrogen line, the universal constant of the cosmos, the same frequency used in the WOW signal. But this time, it's modulated, encoded. For 97 seconds, the pattern repeats. Not random, not natural, binary clusters, evenly spaced. Then silence. The world doesn't notice at first. Only a handful of astronomers see the data before the servers go offline. Maintenance, they're told. But Loeb's team copies the stream. They isolate the waveform, convert it into audio, and hear something no one expected. A harmonic resonance, like a pulse, almost like breathing. Loeb doesn't call a press conference. He doesn't announce a discovery. He simply writes one sentence in his logbook. If this is a signal, it's not asking a question. Because the modulation wasn't random. It mirrored Earth's own magnetic signature, the same pattern our planet emits every day, reflected back, as if something had been listening. And then, as quickly as it came, the object fades from detection. By dawn on December 20th, it's gone, accelerating outward back into interstellar space. No debris, no fragments, no trace except the signal. It entered our system quietly, used the sun to slow down, released 9 small craft, and left without a word. Some call it coincidence. Others call it the first interstellar flyby by design. Loeb calls it a test. A test of our attention, of whether we'd notice, of whether we'd care. Because if they, whoever they are, wanted to make contact, they wouldn't land on the White House lawn. They'd watch from afar. They'd measure curiosity. They'd see which species looks up and asks why. And maybe that's what just happened. We weren't attacked. We weren't contacted. We were observed. And in that silence, Loeb says, lies the real message, that intelligence doesn't announce itself with spectacle. It reveals itself through patience, through waiting, through watching. He closes his journal with one line. The universe may already be full of voices. We're only now learning how to listen. And as 3i Atlas fades into the cold, dark beyond, our telescopes keep tracking, our instruments keep listening, and humanity stands at the edge of the oldest question in the cosmos. What happens when they look back? Because maybe, just maybe, that day isn't coming. Maybe it already has.